Poland, by the way, fell pretty quick. Part of what fell so fast was because of the German so-called Blitzkrieg that the media called it. And this was like a new form of military tactics, like offensive style warfare, which used like a combination of mobilized forces like tanks, trucks, and other kinds of vehicles, and then air power with fighters and bombers to neutralize the enemy. And so Blitzkrieg, which meant lightning war, was a tremendous, type of new tactic that really changed warfare forever. And so for the first few years, like first 2 or 3 years, the Germans just overwhelmed their enemies on the battlefield, and they were able to conquer vast amounts of territory throughout Europe and even parts of North Africa, etc. So so-called German Blitzkrieg, they say was the brainchild of this German general named Heinz Guderian. You may have heard of him, who pretty much was the one that developed like a lot of how they fought with like tanks, like Panzer divisions and things like that. The Germans, and so they helped to really revolutionize, warfare throughout World War II. The irony, though, was that they still had, if you know about World War II, they still had to use like horses and stuff, like to move like artillery and other things around. So they still were using horses, but obviously this changed warfare, and it's pretty much why the Germans were able to overwhelm like the French and the British in the West, like when they took France, because of these mobilized forces that they have. Because they would have had that in probably World War I, they may have done that easier. Now afterwards, like I said, Poland like fell in like 3 or 4 weeks. It fell, and of course, and the Soviets came in and took over the eastern half of it, and so you can see how they kind of broke it up. The different areas of Poland. So the eastern part was taken over by the Soviets, along with the Baltic states, and then, of course, the western part, of course, was taken over by the Germans. And we'll get to it later, but they do commit a lot of atrocities in Poland, especially the Germans, where they kill a lot of Polish Jews and other non-Jews as well. I forget how many Poles died in World War II, but it was something like 6 million people that died. To kind of give you an idea, kind of part of the whole Holocaust thing, of course, in World War II later. But that's kind of what happens with Poland, etc.